Morning, Jen. It's Friday. So I know I told you earlier in the week that I thought today's video might be a little sad. It still might get a little bit sad, sorry. But I wanted to talk about tomatoes and why it's so important to me to do it perfectly and why I'm having such a hard time with it not working out. So when I was growing up, my grandma, Roma, grew tomatoes in 3 different beds in our house. She had in-ground gardens my whole life, and she had one alongside the house that had green onions literally all year long, which is so impressive to me because I cannot grow a green onion to save my life. Like I just haven't hit the right season yet, so I don't know how she did it literally all year in Iowa. But she also had tomatoes, and she grew slicers and heirlooms and cherry tomatoes, and she grew from seed or from start or from whatever last year's tomato plant left in the ground. And that was just one bed. In the other 2 beds, she had tons of other fruits and vegetables, but she always had tomatoes. And I have a lot of memories of just sitting in the garden. I had what did she call it? It was like a fairy circle, kind of. So she grew a bunch of sunflowers for me around this old tree stump that had been like cut out of the garden at some point, and it was so old that it had been worn smooth, so it was like a chair. So I had this little like chair hidden in this garden of sunflowers, and it was my fairy circle. But I have all these fond memories of sitting in the garden listening to her like hum gospel songs while she tilled the soil and while she was a stewardess of the earth. And I want to be that and do that, and it's been a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So it hits some type of way and it's just been really hard. However, I'm starting to see some progress. So today I think is going to be a better day, and I'm not going to be sad about my garden today, I hope, while I show it to you. So in the vein of growing tomatoes, I thought that I for sure would be very successful in starting from seed because I am my grandmother's granddaughter. Like, surely I have the same ability to grow tomatoes from seed that she did. I'm trying to keep perspective that she had literal decades more experience in gardening than I currently have. So also she grew up on a farm in Iowa, so you know, it's advantageous for her, and I am a city girl trying to be a homesteader. Okay, so these are wonderful beans. They're doing fine. That's not what we're talking about today. This situation, I thought I would have big bushy tomato plants by now. Instead, what I have is 3, I'll give myself some credit, 2 3/4 failed attempts at like different failed attempts at trying to start tomatoes from seed. So you know the story, but for anybody who's watching who doesn't know, I had the starters up in my office and the cats ate them the first round. And then I had them started again after like being sad about it for 2 weeks. I started them later, and then the cats ate them again. And then the 3rd round, most of them died, but also the cats ate some of them. Does anybody want a free cat? I'm just kidding. If my mom is watching this video, Mom, I'm joking. We're not getting rid of the cats, I promise. Anyway, so the cats ate most of the starters, and then the ones that did survive that I transplanted, like 4 of them died. I don't know if it was because there wasn't enough water, if it's because it was too hot, if it's because it was too much water, or just the trauma of being moved around so much. That's fair. But they didn't make it. So I don't know what I did wrong. I hardened them off. I hardened off the seedlings. They were doing okay. And then they just didn't survive the move and the replanting. My inner writer is like, oh God, everything's a metaphor. Talk about the metaphor. I can't do it. Okay. Anyway, of the ones that survived, well, okay. Some of them survived. Period. That's a full sentence. Some of them survived, and I'm happy about it. The cherry tomatoes are doing okay. They're still a little short, but they're starting to like get their roots in place, which is good. The black beauties are actually all the way at the end. I don't remember why we did that, but they're over there on their own. I had 4 transplants. 3 of them are doing well. 1 of them is dead, and so I put seeds in the ground to see if that would work. The atomic grapes actually are doing pretty well. 3 of them are planted and doing fine. 1 of them unfortunately did not make it, but I think that was probably my strongest starter. It's this little guy at the bottom right here. And then the last ones are the Amish pastes. They're also doing really well. There's 3 of them. 1 of them died. Okay, so I guess it's less than half that didn't make it, technically. Anyway, I'm just sad that so many of my tomatoes aren't doing well. It bums me out, and I just want them to be better and be fine. So I put seeds in the ground for all the varieties, and if they grow, they grow, and if they don't grow, and it starts to get later in the season when other folks are able to harvest tomatoes, then I will go get a started plant. So be it. Or I will just buy my tomatoes again this year and grow purple bush beans. Look at those boys. They're growing so fast. I don't know what I did differently, but they're doing great. Also, the soybeans are doing great. Anyway, I don't know what the point of this video was. I just wanted to talk about tomatoes and why I love them so much. They're my favorite fruit/vegetable. They're so versatile. You can can them. You can just eat them plain or with some salt. I just have so many fond memories of tomatoes. Is that weird? Is that an Iowa girl thing? I don't know. Can't wait to see your garden, Jen. I hope that it is growing better than mine. I will see you soon.